You're about to find out. Vibrations enormous, and we are go at Monza, and Montoya not a great start. He has to cut right across the front of Schumacher, but look at the Ralf Schumacher goes around the outside of Montoya down towards turn one. Ralf has the line, Montoya is dived down the inside though, and this is what he was talking about. When Ralf has to run wide, they both run wide. Ralf takes the lead, but he had to go through the speed humps to do it. Someone's lost their front wing though, Martin.
Yes, indeed. There's a Jaguar very slow in there too. Della Rosa was slow. Will Ralf Schumacher be penalised for that crazy driving from the two Williams drivers? But I suspect Michael Schumacher did have less fuel load. He just found he was blocked by two Williams in his way, and there was a McLaren in there getting well out of shape as well. Don't see Coulthard in there. It was Raikkonen, I think, coming through the picture quite sideways.
So Ralf Schumacher leads, but will he be allowed to keep it? He definitely cut through the middle of the chicane. Montoya second, Barrichello is third, fourth Michael Schumacher, fifth Irvine, sixth Raikkonen, sorry, sixth Irvine, seventh McNish, eighth Coulthard, ninth Salo, 10th Panis.
I think it's Coulthard's front wing that's gone missing, so he seems to be the one slipping back down the field. I think I could see him in the very back of the picture there, minus the front wing. Two Toyotas running up there well too, look. Salo and, well, it's McNish ahead of him. McNish has had a great start up into P7. Here we see then a replay, and look, Montoya, knowing he had to cover immediately the line, and there was nowhere for Michael to go. He had to get out of the throttle, just blocked by two Williams rear wings, and look, they then nearly virtually trip over each other. Montoya will get away with it. I think Ralf Schumacher might get penalised for that.
In terms of the conversations that have been going on throughout the weekend, it's impossible really to see how they could allow Ralf Schumacher to keep that lead. It was definitely gained by cutting across the chicane, but look at this, Barrichello attacking Montoya side by side as they go down to the Grande Curva. And it's clearly the Ferrari is either much faster or carrying a slightly lower fuel load, because Montoya is really struggling to keep him behind.
Well, remember what Ruben said to us on the grid. He said, I've got to get on with it. I'm going to have to push. I'll mind on the first corner, then I'll push like crazy. That is Coulthard then, getting a new nose in the standard 18 seconds. Barrichello hasn't made his move yet, but it does then easily suggest that Barrichello's on a two-stopper, maybe Michael on a one. And Williams at the moment making it work out.
Well, they are, but there'll be some serious radio traffic going on between Montoya and the Williams pits about the tactics of Ralf at the start. What do you think the Williams team will do? What will they be telling Montoya?
I think they'll be telling him nothing right now in terms of just get on and race. There's no point in having a discussion and a meeting about it. He's just got to keep those Ferraris behind him as long as he can, and the race will then play into his hands, I believe. It's Ralf that'll be nervous of what they're going to do about him going across that chicane, because he really did miss the whole of the apex. It's up on the computer that he missed the apex, and I'd be very surprised if that is not investigated by the stewards. Remember, Ross also said to us on the line, there's going to be a lot of controversy about jumping chicanes today.
Well, he's certainly right about that. Breaking down then from 225 miles an hour to just 40 for the first chicane, and there have been some big moves off the grid. Jarno Trulli, who started at the back, has gone up 5 places, but the big winner definitely Alan McNish. Started 13th, he's gone up 7 places. Absolutely tremendous performance by Alan McNish, and Ralf Schumacher trying to pull away now from his teammate Juan Montoya. Third still is Barrichello, and he's pushing very hard. Michael Schumacher seems content at the moment to sit in 4th place and watch all this play out. Raikkonen holding on to them in 5th place, being dropped ever so slightly, but keeping Irvine behind him. And then McNish 7th, as I say, Salo 8th, Panis 9th, and Heidfeld in 10th place. Electric start.
Yes, Panis making 7 places on the first lap too, as they tripped over themselves in the first chicane. It's Della Rosa who slipped a long way back, and Coulthard who had to pit for a new nose. So it seems as if the McLaren and the Jaguar may have got together. They started alongside each other on the grid, but look then, McNish really having his strongest race for a long, long time up there in P7 and hanging on him well.
He's already been told by Toyota his service is not required for next year. He seems quite optimistic about his chances of finding something, but the season is growing quite late. There he is, Alan McNish, going through the Parabolica, and he's got ahead of Jacques Villeneuve, who was stellar in qualifying yesterday in the British-American Racing Honda, qualifying in 9th place. And Villeneuve slipping down to 11th. But look at this is Barrichello on Montoya, not quite close enough this time. And Montoya able to defend. And we're getting a report also that David Coulthard has missed the first chicane, but he's not really a contender at the moment, having lost his front nose. This, though, the great battle at the moment on track, and Barrichello looking very racy as they come down to the Rogers chicane.
And look how skinny the rear wing is on that Ferrari. So they've taken rear wing out of it. He's light on fuel. That's why, with a bit of slipstreaming effect as well, he can be all over the back of Montoya. Montoya will be sitting there grinning slyly to himself, because at the moment it's working out. But one tiny slip and Barrichello will be through.
Well, the way it's shaping up at the moment, you just wonder whether they haven't sent Barrichello out there as the hare to try and push the BMW Williams team, try and get that engine to break. Certainly if you put a little bit less fuel in him and make him race against the two up front, it certainly looks as though Michael Schumacher might just be carrying the same sort of fuel load as the Williams is, just from the way he's driving that car. Quite possible they have done, as you said, Martin, split the strategies. Rubens on a 2, Michael on a 1. We will see as Rubens lines up. Montoya is not close enough again, but Montoya a lot closer to Ralph this time. And Ralph's in problems.
Did Ralph just let him through? No, he didn't let him through. Ralph does indeed have a problem. He is out of the Grand Prix, I would imagine.
Yep, smoke coming out of the back of the car.
Yeah, that's an engine problem, isn't it? So Ralf Schumacher then really getting out of the way at the last moment, and it just compromised Montoya a bit. And look, that's the net result. Barrichello got the slingshot, Ralf Schumacher out of the Grand Prix, and all of a sudden the whole pack turns around and it plays into Ferrari's hands beautifully, because Montoya really just had to get out of it a bit behind Ralph going into Parabolica.
Indeed he did. He lost the momentum, and that gave Barrichello the chance. He was just that little bit further behind. Just Montoya took his eye off the ball, but you can see how hard he's pushing. He's missed the chicane at turn 2.
Did Michael go through as well?
No, he didn't. He's behind still, but he'll certainly have a bit more momentum going into the Lesmo curves. And Montoya really has to just get on top of this situation now, doesn't he, Martin? He's had a big setback. He's got to just calm down again and just refocus.
He has indeed. Williams have just had one of the most miserable half laps of their entire history, I think, with the last few hundred metres of the Italian Grand Prix. It really has just suddenly turned on its head for them. And as you say, James, Montoya just got to keep his head. I don't think he'll get penalised because he actually went through the gravel. He didn't really just cut and use the extra tarmac there, and that's really released Rubens Barrichello. It's not what we needed this afternoon. We needed Williams to keep their head, and I think Montoya lost his momentarily, and of course Ralph's lost his engine.
Yeah, the general rule is if you cut a chicane and make a gain because of it, then you get penalised. If you make no gain, as Montoya did that time, you don't get penalised. But look at this, the Ferrari alongside Michael Schumacher and Juan Montoya side by side. Can Schumacher close the door? Yes, he can, as they come down at 220 miles an hour into the first turn. Montoya can do nothing about Schumacher. He's up into second place. It's a Ferrari 1-2 on lap 6. Well,
the widest Ferrari you'll ever see, and Michael placed his car beautifully. Really didn't give Montoya any sight of the corner or the braking zone, and quite clearly they've dropped a lot of wing off that Ferrari. We'll have to wait and see how much fuel Schumacher's got on board, but looking on that last lap, Barrichello pulled out a 3-second lead, so clearly he's light. Now let's watch Michael.
Yes, one wonders. I've just got a hunch to put him on the same sort of fuel load just to cover the bases. He is beginning to pull away a little bit from Montoya, but I thought I saw something fly off the back of Montoya. There was perhaps some debris on the track, Martin, a little bit of black carbon fibre or something. Here's a replay of the passing move, pretty clinical.
Look, Michael then moved to the middle of the circuit to block the inside line. Ferrari mechanics just coming into them, isn't it? It's really just coming to them so easily. And again then Schumacher immediately putting air between himself and Montoya.
Barrichello leads on lap 6. That's the gap you can see on your screens. It is in fact 3.2 seconds, or it was at the end of the last lap. I fancy it's a bit bigger now. Michael Schumacher